Hello and welcome. In this video, we will demonstrate the retrofit capabilities and the ease of installation of the Haws 1200 series electric water cooler over a pre-existing fountain and bottle filler combo. This process is similar for most installation types and brands. Before beginning, ensure that you depressurize the unit and turn power off at the breaker. To begin, remove the 4 screws in these locations on the bottom of the fountain to remove the skirt. Check what type of tool you will need, as this may have changed over time. When you have finished removing the Phillips head screws from the bottom of the skirt, you may now remove the skirt. Disconnect the unit from power at the breaker for your safety, after which you may unplug the unit underneath the drinking fountain manually. You may now shut off the water supply to the fountain. Remove the water line connected from the wall to the drinking fountain in the upper left-hand corner of the fountain. Gently push in on the connection and pull out on the tubing at the same time to remove the tubing. Loosen the nuts holding the P-trap in place. Once finished, carefully remove the P-trap, as there is likely water still trapped in the elbow. The electrical, water, and drain have all been disconnected, and it is now safe to move on to the removal of the bottle filler. Remove the 2 Allen head screws on top of the bottle filler to remove it from the wall. To remove the bottle filler, pull up and away from the wall firmly. Note the locations of the water connection and the power connection on the back of the unit. These must both be disconnected before fully removing. You have now fully and successfully removed the bottle filler from the unit. There will be hardware attaching the drinking fountain to the wall in the bottom corner of the unit on each side. Both must be removed before the drinking fountain can be fully removed from the wall. To make this process simpler, on the left side, simply remove the filter by turning it counterclockwise until it releases. Remove the filter, exposing the hardware hidden behind the filter, and remove the hardware. Now that the hardware has been removed, you may remove the drinking fountain. To remove the drinking fountain from the wall, grab under the lip on each side and pull up and away from the wall. At this point, all that is left is the removal of the wall brackets. You may remove these using a standard Phillips head screwdriver or a power tool. Use caution after the brackets have been removed and when handling them, as the steel edges may cause injury. The power, water, and drain connections left on the wall will be reused for the new installation. It's now time to unbox your new electric water cooler. Included in the box will be the electric water cooler skirt, the bottle filler, mounting hardware, instructions, and the mounting wall brackets. The wall brackets will be located on the rear of the drinking fountain and attached to the bottle filler. Using your own 1/4-inch bit holding screwdriver, remove the bracket from the back of the bottle filler. Following the same process, and again using the 1/4-inch bit holding screwdriver, remove the bracket from the back of the cooler. Locate the lateral position of the unit relative to the drain, which I'll demonstrate in a moment. The vertical location of the mounting brackets and the unit must be in accordance with the O&M, the Operations and Maintenance Manual. Mount the hanger brackets on the wall using 4 1/4-inch structural screws. The screws must engage into structural material such as concrete, metal backing, wood blocking, and etc. Do not use drywall anchors. Repeat this process for the electric water cooler mounting bracket as well. Take one last moment to ensure the bracket is level and then move on to the lower bracket. Take note that when installing a new electric water cooler rather than a retrofit, there is a full-size installation template that can be made available to you to help increase the ease of installation by calling our customer service hotline, whose information is at the end of this video. The hanger bracket has a notch indicating the center line of the water cooler, as well as a second notch off-center indicating the ideal drain location on the wall. If the center line of the drain does not align with the second notch, consider moving the bracket location to accommodate. With the cooler laying on its back, remove the 4 screws on the bottom holding the skirt to the frame. Then remove the skirt by sliding the skirt away from the cooler. Now hang the cooler onto the hanger bracket. Note that the hanger bracket must go through the holes in the cooler frame that are shaped like a sideways letter P. The bracket allows for some lateral adjustment of the cooler location. Slide the cooler laterally as needed at this time. Secure both the lower left and lower right ends of the cooler to the wall using at least 2 1/4-inch or 3/8 structural screws. Washers may be required. Remember that the screws must engage into structural material. Do not use drywall anchors. With the electric water cooler installed, we can now focus on the drain, water line, and filter if it is a filtered unit. Connect the water inlet line to the water stop, attached to either the strainer or the filter pending the model being installed. Install the compression nut included with your supply valve. Do not use the brass ferrule included with your supply valve. Instead, use the supplied plastic ferrule. Lastly, insert the brass tube support supplied into the inlet line. Note the correct orientation of the plastic ferrule in Figure 2 of the installation drawing. Insert the inlet line into the supply valve until it bottoms out. Thread the nut down onto the supply valve until finger tight only. Put a line on the nut using a marker, and then tighten exactly one additional 360-degree turn with a wrench using the line to count the turns. Time to install the P-trap. If necessary, trim the water cooler's drain tailpiece in place so it interfaces properly with the P-trap inlet. Pliers may be required to tighten the nuts to a leak-tight condition. If the model you are installing has a filter, install the filter now. Take care not to damage the circuit board located behind the filter head. Turn the filter a quarter turn clockwise until it stops to ensure a good connection. Check that the bottle filler wiring harness extends through the upper rear of the water cooler. If it does not, pull it out through the upper rear of the water cooler. Begin to feed the bottle filler water tubing through the slot in the back of the water cooler. Connect the wiring harness to the circuit board on the back of the bottle filler. Fully install the bottle filler by sliding it down fully onto its wall bracket with the lower arms engaged into the slots of the cooler. The bottle filler should rest completely against the top of the water cooler with no gap and should be flush with the wall surface. Install the two supplied 1024 T25 drive machine screws through the sides of the water cooler frame and into the lower brackets at the shown locations. Tightening these screws will lock the bottle filler into position, so be sure that the bottle filler is fitting tightly against the top of the water cooler. Slide the supplied foam insulation tubing over the end of the bottle filler water tubing, which is now running down through the water cooler, and connect the bottle filler water tubing to the 1/4 inch push-in elbow connector located inside the water cooler. Tuck this tubing into the water cooler so that it does not protrude or kink. You may now open the water supply valve and check the system for leaks. Plug the power cord into the wall receptacle, which should presently be powered off at the breaker panel. Note the thermostat location here. For every 1,500 feet above sea level, adjust 1/16 turn counterclockwise to prevent freezing of the water. Taking care not to scratch the black plastic parts behind the bowl, reinstall the skirt. Finish removing any protective plastic film left on the skirt. Complete the skirt installation by replacing the 4 screws in the bottom of the skirt that you had previously removed. The stainless steel parts of the unit can now be cleaned with the provided cleaning wipe. Buff off any excess with a clean cloth or paper towel. Do not allow the cleaning fluid to touch the plastic parts or the bottle filler. Reconnect the power at the breaker panel. Then place a cup over the bubbler to minimize splattering, and push the front button to activate the bubbler flow. Keep the button depressed until all air is purged out of the water line. Repeat this process for additional bubblers as well as the bottle filler. If the unit has a filter, run the bubbler for 10 minutes in order to properly flush the filter. At this point, you have successfully retrofitted the Haws 1200 series electric water cooler over the old water cooler. After allowing for a few minutes for the water to cool down, enjoy a cool drink of water. If you have any questions or need assistance, please reach out to the Haws customer service team at 1-888-640-4297.